Hello, my little love. Did you have a good day today? I hope something made you smile. Now take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and let your mind get soft and quiet. It's time for a gentle bedtime story. Once upon a time, there was a little girl with bright red hair that caught the sunlight like autumn leaves. She had a heart full of dreams and an imagination that could turn ordinary moments into magical adventures. She lived in a place where she had always wished for one thing more than anything else: a real home where she belonged. One spring day, when the apple blossoms were just beginning to open their soft petals, the girl traveled down a winding road in a carriage. The wheels turned slowly, and she watched the world pass by gentle green fields. Trees with branches that swayed like they were waving hello, and a sky so blue it looked like it went on forever. She was going to meet two people who lived on a farm, and though she felt a little flutter of nervousness in her chest, she was mostly filled with hope. The carriage rolled to a stop in front of a white house with green shutters. And there were cherry trees nearby that would soon be covered in the most beautiful pink blossoms. A kind man with gentle eyes met her at the gate. He looked a little surprised, but his voice was warm when he spoke. "Well now," he said softly, "welcome." His sister, a woman with careful ways and a thoughtful face, stood on the porch. At first, she seemed uncertain, but the little girl could see something soft in her expression, like the beginning of spring after a long winter. The girl learned that they had been expecting someone different, but as the evening settled in with its golden light, something important happened. The kind man looked at his sister and said quietly, "Perhaps we could give this a try." And the woman, after a long pause filled with thinking and feeling, nodded slowly. "Perhaps we could," she agreed. That night, the girl slept in a small room with a window that looked out over the cherry trees. The moonlight came through the glass like a gentle blessing, and she felt something she had never quite felt before: safe, wanted, and home. In the days that followed, the girl discovered her new world slowly, like opening a precious gift one layer at a time. She explored the farm in the soft morning light, when the dew still sparkled on the grass like tiny diamonds. She found a path through the woods where the trees grew close together, their branches making a green roof overhead. Sunlight filtered through the leaves in golden streams, and everything smelled like earth and growing things. She named this path something beautiful, something that matched how magical it felt to walk there in the quiet morning. She would whisper to the trees as she passed, thanking them for their shade, and sometimes she would stop to touch the soft moss that grew on their trunks. There was a lake nearby that she could see from a hill, and it glittered in the distance like a mirror made of sky. She would sit on the hill and imagine all the wonderful things that might happen in her new life: friends to meet, lessons to learn, adventures to have. But gentle adventures, the kind that fill your heart without ever making you afraid. The woman who had taken her in, though serious and careful, began to show her kindness in quiet ways. She taught the girl how to bake, and they would stand together in the warm kitchen while bread rose slowly in the oven, filling the house with the most comforting smell. She showed the girl how to tend the garden, pressing seeds into the soft earth and watering them gently, explaining that with patience and care, beautiful things would grow. The kind man would take the girl with him sometimes when he went to check on the animals or mend a fence. He never rushed. He moved with calm, steady patience, And he told her stories about the farm, about the seasons, about how everything has its own time and rhythm. The girl learned that belonging somewhere means being part of that rhythm, being woven into the pattern of daily life, where every small task matters and every person is needed. As spring turned to summer, the girl made a special friend, another girl who lived nearby, with gentle ways and a kind smile. They would meet under the cherry trees, now full and green, and they would talk about everything and nothing. They shared secrets and dreams, and they promised to be true friends forever. The kind of friends who make life feel warmer and safer just by being there. Sometimes the girl's imagination would carry her away. She would look at the sunset and see it as a painting made by angels. She would watch the wind move through the wheat fields and imagine it was the earth breathing softly. The woman would sometimes shake her head at these fanciful ideas. But there was the tiniest smile at the corner of her mouth, and the girl knew she was loved even when she was being gently corrected. There were lessons to learn, of course. Once, the girl accidentally mixed up something she was baking, and instead of the beautiful cake she had imagined, it came out quite different. She felt tears prick her eyes, but the woman sat beside her and said softly, "Mistakes are how we learn, dear. Tomorrow we'll try again." And they did, and the next cake was perfect. Another time, the girl acted without thinking and something broke, something precious that couldn't be put back together. She was so worried that she wouldn't be forgiven, but the kind man simply knelt down beside her and said, "Things can be replaced. You cannot. What matters is that you're safe and that you learn." His voice was like a warm blanket, wrapping her in understanding. The seasons turned slowly, painting the world in different colors. Summer brought fireflies that danced in the evening like tiny stars that had come down to play. Autumn arrived with leaves that turned gold and red, drifting down in slow spirals to make soft piles that whispered when you walked through them. Winter came with snow that made everything quiet and clean. And the girl would look out her window at the white world and feel grateful for the warm house and the warm hearts inside it. Spring returned, bringing with it cherry blossoms that fell like gentle pink snow. The girl, now settled fully into her home, would stand under the trees and let the petals land in her hair. She had grown in many ways, not just taller, but also more patient, more thoughtful, more aware of how love isn't always loud or dramatic, but often quiet and steady, showing itself in daily kindness and consistent care. She learned that a home isn't perfect. Sometimes there were difficult moments, times when she made mistakes or when she didn't understand something right away. But she also learned that a real home is a place where you can make mistakes and still belong, where you can be yourself, imagination and all, and be loved exactly as you are. The woman, who had seemed so stern at first, became someone the girl treasured deeply. She saw how the woman showed love through actions, through meals prepared carefully, through clothes mended patiently, through rules that were really just ways of keeping her safe. And the kind man remained a constant source of gentle wisdom, always ready with a smile or a word of encouragement when it was needed most. The girl realized that she had found what she had always dreamed of, not a perfect place with no challenges, but a real place where she was chosen, where she was wanted, where she mattered. She had found people who were willing to be patient with her, to help her grow, to celebrate her unique way of seeing the world. On quiet evenings, the three of them would sit together as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of rose and lavender. They didn't always need to talk. Sometimes they would just sit in comfortable silence, being together, and that was enough. The girl would feel a deep sense of peace settle over her like a soft shawl, and she would think to herself how lucky she was. She had learned that home is not just a place with walls and a roof. Home is where you are loved for exactly who you are. Home is where your imagination is treasured, not just tolerated. Home is where you can grow like the seeds in the garden slowly, patiently, with care and sunshine and room to become who you're meant to be. As the stars began to appear in the darkening sky, one by one like tiny candles being lit, the girl would whisper a quiet thank you to the universe for bringing her to this place, to these people, to this life she had always dreamed of. And every night, before she drifted off to sleep in her small room with the window facing the cherry trees, she would remember that she was home, truly home, and that tomorrow would bring more small joys, more gentle lessons, more moments of belonging. The cherry blossoms would bloom again when spring returned. The fireflies would dance again in summer. The leaves would fall again in autumn, and the snow would blanket everything in winter's quiet peace. And through it all, she would be here, loved and safe, with her bright red hair and her endless imagination, exactly where she belonged. You did well today, my little love. Now let your eyes grow heavy, and let the night wrap around you like a soft blanket. Sleep well, sweet dreams, and rest deeply.